Welcome to Gerd a load of this.
We have a title. What did you read in August? Did you have a good time?
I did. We just started this little cutesy book club, so I was kind of more overwhelmed with getting
That?
the books first off, because little backstory for Lo, I have had a big library and then I moved around a lot the last like 7 years, so I had to like cull a ton of my books. Probably in the upwards of like 50 to like 75 books.
Devastating.
Devastating, really, truly, because I have a Honda Civic. You cannot fit 16 book boxes in a Honda Civic, by the way.
Just
So
get
I did
rid of
have
the
to get
other
rid of.
stuff.
Oh yeah, let me just like not bring my clothes or like any of my my supposed heirlooms. So I'm in the process of rebuilding my library. So this month, as far as like reading goes, like I went and got Lady Macbeth, and then I have Kindle, so I did the Assistant to the Villain on that, and then I also, from the behest of Garden, I have started reading the Throne of Glass series, so I'm on the third book.
Rightfully
So
so.
it was a good reading month, but there I was busy, and then I just wasn't feeling it in a couple days, so just ended up being only three. But I'm okay with that because I work a full-time job and I don't have any downtime during that, so I'm a-okay with what I got done. For Lady Macbeth, we do have a podcast coming out about that. Full deep dive, all the spoilers, all the thoughts. I did give it a 3.5. I liked the story, I liked the lore, but there were a couple misses for me. So ultimately, like, I would recommend it, but I wouldn't say it was like my top read. I loved the vibes. It's perfect for we're going in the Burr months, October, September, November, no, all those good things. So it definitely was giving doom and gloom, and I am obsessed with that. So
How are you
it was a good
obsessed
read.
with something you gave 3.5 stars?
Okay, no, not obsessed with a book. I'm obsessed with the setting. And you can really just have that setting in any book if you really put your mind to it. Okay? I also, shocker, gave Air of Fire 3.5 out of 5 stars.
No way.
I am not generous with my stars this month.
But you
Besides
also have a weird
rating. I
you
know.
are generous with your stars because you rate them higher, I feel like.
If
Because I
a
think a
book
3.5 is not good, and you think a 3.5 is good.
I think a 3.5 is something that, again, like I would recommend somebody read, but I would never reread it unless I guess like Air of Fire if I was going to do a full series read again, but I don't really do that because it takes me forever to read through books anyway. So it's no hate to the book. Like 3.5 to me is, I mean, if you're thinking about the scale of 1 to 5 is like 1 to 100.
I know.
3 is like
That's
mid-tier.
65% or 70%. No.
Okay,
Wait.
that's good.
That's
But
not
math would
passing usually.
I was homeschooled.
That's not good.
I don't care about passing. I got handed my diploma. Anyway, I said in my little like thing, I guess I can give a blurb of it. But basically our girl Selena, is that how you say it, or is it Selena? Selena.
Tomato, tomato.
Tomato, tomato. I have listened to the audiobook. I have read it on Kindle. Um I I like this series, but I think that I'm going to like this series a whole bunch in retrospect.
Yes.
Okay. I am not trudging through the books, but I'm not like flying through them. And I know that some people just they just eat the book up, and that is not happening for me. Like I am taking my time in the story. I'm really like wrestling with learning new characters, and I love her writing style. She is so good at like describing trauma and horrors and, just like good feelings and great atmosphere. And I like Selena a lot, but I don't I don't like the other POVs.
No.
So it sucks because I'm like, okay, give me like if the whole entire story was just about her, obviously there wouldn't be 17,000 books, but
That
I
would be
feel like
like
I would
watching
enjoy it
Game
a
of
lot more.
Thrones only from I don't
Like,
even
yeah,
know whose
like
POV.
Daenerys. Like it would only be, yeah, exactly. I mean, I think I would like a Jon Snow telling more, but that's just me. Um no other reason. Um but
But you just miss out on so much.
I
Like,
know.
it
And so
needs to
and
have
I'm
all these POVs.
I'm
You're not
liking
supposed to like everyone.
I get that. But I just end up skimming that stuff a lot more, which kind of sucks because I do think that like I'm not a Kale hater. I just don't enjoy the trajectory of his story. Like I don't hate him, but I'm just kind of bored. And then Manon or Manon, however you say her name, I liked the story and I like the fact that it was like its own little book within Heir of Fire. Like I think that Sarah J. Maas, her trajectory for this character, putting a whole entire little like triumphant story in between the pages of like Selena and stuff. I think that was very well done, but I also was bored at times with her because I don't have a relationship there.
Yeah.
Like I don't know who she is. I'm trying to learn. I didn't fall in love with her within the first like pages, even though she is like really dark and creepy and like
Cool.
disgusting and mean and cool. And I love her, but I hate her. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it just felt like the multiple POVs felt very clunky for me when I was rating it, and I didn't really care for about like I didn't not care like I don't know I don't hate it. I didn't hate it. I enjoyed the book, but it was like it didn't really get going for me until like the 60%.
Yeah.
My
I could see
biggest
that.
gripe would be for this book is that Rowan, his attitude is convenient at best sometimes. Because like when you first meet him, he's like, "Don't talk to me, I'm grumpy, I won't talk to you." Blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden he's like touching her hair and like hugging her and sleeping next to her, and I'm like, I just didn't. It did not. I don't know. The way that he was set up, his pacing did not do anything for me. Like it didn't. I love a slow burn. This is my problem, girl. I love a slow burn. So the fact that it wasn't a slow burn, but we also aren't like jumping each other's bones yet, like it was just really odd the way that he was. It was too in between. It was like really odd the way that he was like almost this like dark mentor figure, and then all of a sudden he's like again like braiding her hair and bringing her coffee and like da da da. I'm like, ooh, I don't know. It just gave me the ick. It was probably not supposed to. It was probably supposed to be like finally, but it really. I was like, oh, you're supposed to be meaner, please. So I guess he just like I don't know. They found each other too quickly. That's how
it's the third book. What do you mean too quickly?
He just got introduced. It took her freaking.
You know, in the original draft of the Throne of Glass, he's in book 1.
Books to kiss what's his name. So,
I think the original draft of Throne of Glass, he's in book 1, but
really,
she ends up with Dorian.
Okay.
Girl,
that's my whole thing. It's like it took her so long to even kiss Kale that it was so. And
yeah,
I don't think they've
Kale.
I don't think they've kissed in the third book, but it just is like I don't know. It was not as satisfying as I wanted it to be, and I was very thrown off by like these like dark chapters of Manon, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh my gosh, I'm like literally cuddling in his bed and like 10,000 blankets and he's bringing me tea and soup and I'm just reading all day. Yeah, I was like, okay. I didn't like that side of Selena. I don't know.
It's definitely one of those things. I want to do a reread of the series because it is one of those things where it does build. It's character development.
Yeah.
You might not always like the journey, but you really like where they end up.
And that's
then
exactly
you can
what I think
you can appreciate the journey
happen,
more after you know like what happens. And so I think I would like a reread for that
Yeah.
fact.
I
Kind of
think
like ACOTAR, if you read it the second time, you see the characters in a lot different of a light. It's kind of
yes.
similar, but reverse.
Right, because you already know what's gonna happen, but you just like have a lot more. You have more context. So yeah, I don't know. I feel
Yes.
like it was interesting for them to have like this like weird like besties handshake at the end of the book, and then she's like, "I'm gonna come back for you," and he's like, "You're my everything," and I'm like, "Wait, I just
Not
we
not
just got here."
not to bring it back to Game of Thrones, but I think
It's always
I
coming
think
back
I
to Game
think
of
a good
Thrones.
example is Jaime Lannister.
Okay,
You hate him
yeah.
in the beginning
Oh, but
and
I love him now.
kind of
He's like
find out why
my
he is the
favorite
way he
character.
is, and you really like who he becomes. So when you
Yeah.
rewatch it, you kind of justify his behaviors and you're like, he's
Hmm.
not that bad, because like you know how he's going to turn out and you really
Yeah,
like
that's
him.
true. I just am
And so
in
I
the
think
middle. I've
it's
just been
this
dumped in
same
this like
situation.
yeah. Like I said, I know that I will love this series retrospectively, but me, Lauren, right now, no, no. I'm like I need to be finished with it so that I can love it because I'm not struggling, but like I won't DNF it. Like I'll keep going. I'm really enjoying the beginning of Assassin's Blade right now, but um, which is weird because it's not going to be an enjoyable book. Um, but like I'll keep going. I'm invested, but it's just like I really liked Crown of Midnight looking back on it, but I struggled so
Yeah,
hard to read that book. And now I think about it all the time and I'm
I
like,
think I would
frick.
agree.
So I think that once I get farther away from Air of Fire, I will start to like it a lot more for sure. My last read of August was Assistant to the Villain. We already, oh my gosh, I have so many thoughts on this book, and we spent way too long talking about it in depth in a previous episode. This book was everything I've ever wanted and more. As far as like this interesting, like medieval, but also like 30s inspired fantasy where this girl really needs a job and she finds this mysterious villain in the middle of like the woods and he's like, "Oh, I'll give you a job." Then she goes
Sign
to
me up.
work for him and the rest is history. Like the intrigue, the plots, the
I
deception.
love a villain POV.
Oh, I love a villain POV. And he, if you have read or like the Studio Ghibli movie Howl's Moving Castle, he is just as like level-headed but melodramatic and uh, just like not golden retriever but little puppy dog boy. If
But
you love
also a villain.
Howl, but also a villain and like murderous, like hanging bodies from the ceiling, you will fall in love with him. He's so good, and he cares about his hair, and that's like really all that we could ask for out of a villain.
No.
I love that book so much, and I would recommend it to anybody. I did give it 5 out of 5 stars.
Wow.
I would reread this book. I can't wait for the second one. High esteem for this one. But that's all I have for August wrap up.
Um, I read a lot
Lots.
at the end of the month. I don't
You
know what
also
happened
are
here.
receiving arcs. So
Yeah.
that's not I'm not on any sort of like NetGalley situation. So I just read the books that I get on Kindle Unlimited or I go to Barnes and Noble.
And I think I had shorter books. I think I had more books equal pages.
Got it.
Cuz yeah, Assistant to the Villain and Lady Macbeth were shorter,
And Airfire is
beefier.
yeah, just a little.
I got an audiobook arc for The Stars Are Dying.
Ooh.
It's an indie book being traditionally published in the fall. I don't know if I want to say September, but it might be October. I DNF'd it.
Oops.
I never read the indie version of this book. It was on my list. I never got to it. It just looked pretty, and everyone on TikTok was raving about it, but the reviews weren't great, so that's why it kind of got pushed down. I actually really liked the narrators, which I can't always say. A man does the male speaking, a woman does the woman POV, and the woman speaking, which was interesting because a man just like randomly starts speaking in the middle of the chapter, and I was like, oh. But I kind of hated the main character, and I thought the plot was too slow. I do listen to a lot of audiobooks. I'm not new to it, and I gave it more attention than I usually do because it was an arc and I wanted to have like accurate opinions, but I was still getting confused, like I was missing something or it wasn't explained well. I don't know. It was vampires. I'm not into vampires as much.
Love vampires.
I might give the physical book a try, but the audiobook, and it was an arc, I don't know if it was finalized. There was like weird pauses.
Okay.
Like
that would distract the crap out of me.
So I might give the physical book a try. I did like the narrators. Maybe it'll be better, but I wasn't feeling it. Like you said, assistant to the villain. I gave it a solid 4.5 star. It was a refreshing good
Rude.
time.
No, I'm just kidding.
Wasn't enough dragons to be a 5-star for me, despite there was a dragon. You know, the next book, maybe they take him into battle, and that one will be a 5-star.
Its name is Fluffy, bro.
Exactly. Minus 0.5. Macbeth, I enjoyed more than you did. Yes. I gave it a solid 4.
A respectable
4. It was a good time. Recommend. I don't think I'll ever read. I know I will never read Macbeth, so that was a really good substitute.
Era, so if you guys want to get in on it with us.
And then I just finished in E arc that I got, A Fire in the Sky. Ooh, I did not write the author's name down.
Oops.
I want to say it's Sophie Jordan or something.
Did you put it on your Goodreads? I can look it up for you right now while you talk about it.
Oh, that's a movie. Yeah.
I got it. You talk about it.
I rated it a strong 4-star because it was too short. I really liked the writing.
Sophie Jordan.
Yeah, okay. So is Sophie Jordan, A Fire in the Sky. She has other books. I went into this knowing zero about it. All I knew was it was a dragon romantasy, and that was good enough for me. I was excited to read it. Short book, little investment.
Love the cover.
The cover was really pretty, and it has its first print is going to have sprayed edges. Nice. And I was like, sign me up. The less you know, the better, in my opinion, because I knew nothing and I was pleasantly surprised. I think if you know more, you're just gonna be expecting it. So yeah, our main character is the royal family's whipping girl. Ooh. Which is interesting. I don't know if this is a common thing, or I thought it was unique. I never heard of it. She was taken in as a baby by the king and queen as their quote daughter, so the real princesses could grow up with her as a sister, so that when she's whipped they feel bad. So she gets whipped for their punishments. That's as so their punishment, because you can't strike a princess, but you can strike a princess's quote daughter or sister. So it's very interesting. Basically there is a war going on at the border, and these more barbaric men are on the front lines. They're still under the jurisdiction of the king, but kind of their own clan. The leader of said barbaric clan comes to the king and demands requests for his work one of his daughter's hands in marriage, because he has ulterior motives, whatnot. And guess who the king gives? Which daughter he hands over?
Could it be the Cinderella type?
Yeah. So, and it creates this whole thing. It's a journey. It's an adventure. We uncover secrets, revelations. It was a good time, but still being a dragon romantasy book. The back of the book literally says dragons are extinct, blah blah blah. So You know they're gonna find a dragon, but I was surprised when they did. It was fun. It was an arranged marriage. I thought it was interesting. Our characters were feisty. Our men were more gentlemanly, especially after reading Macbeth.
Yeah. Trigger warning.
The last 2 pages had me kicking my feet for entirely different reasons. Good.
Dragons?
It was a good time, and the ending was abrupt, and I was mad that I didn't have more.
Dang, is it slated for a second book?
Yeah, I would say it has to be.
You're like, actually, I demand it. So we're actually
you cannot end the book
Sophie
like that
later, and we're gonna have a conversation with her.
I would say yes, because like things went unanswered, So
Got
like
it.
Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds exciting. I have it on my TBR.
It was a nice quick fun time. And then I read before that another arc for The Dagger and the Flame, which it was coming out in September, but I feel like last I looked it got pushed to like October 1st. I think that author is like Catherine Doyle. I give it a softer 4-star, or as you would probably say 3.5, but I feel bad because it wasn't bad.
My favorite rating. My favorite rating.
My favorite.
It doesn't bring down the average on Goodreads, okay? That's
you
why
round
I
up
like
to a
it.
4, but safe a 3.5.
Exactly. Well, you can't. Yeah, because you can't put halves on Goodreads. So
I know that's my biggest complaint.
But I use Frable now, so I can give a little bit of a half safe. You know what I mean?
That's honestly my biggest thing. Like, say what you want. I want a half star because I feel like it really does affect the rating. Because a lot of people are the opposite of you, and they give it a 4 when it's like a 4.5 or something, and it makes everything look like a 4-star instead of a 4.3, which doesn't seem big, but whatever. Anyway,
not my area of expertise.
The Dagger and the Flame. You're set in a world that has 2 groups ruling the night, the Cloaks and the Daggers. The Cloaks have special cloaks made from something called shade. Basically lets them like hide in the shadows, jump from shadow to shadow, and their thing is stealing.
Mm-hmm.
The Daggers ingest shade, takes a toll on their body and all this other stuff. They become the shadows, so they can like hide in the shadows as well. They become the shadows, and killing people is their thing. These 2 rivaling groups are supposed to keep to themselves, not talk to each other, not look at each other. They have like an understanding, even though they're rivals, to just stay away. But this story follows a dagger and a cloak, the dagger being assigned to kill the cloak. And there's a lot of uncovering secrets on both sides because it is both POVs. I really like a good guy, bad guy POV at the same time. And that's kind of what this is. As a whole, hence the soft 4. As a whole, I liked the book. Looking back on it, like I liked it as a whole. I'm excited for book 2. It was a really good setup for a series. It's your typical world building, meeting characters, character development. Where I struggled in the beginning was that the author was maybe trying really hard to keep things from the reader to like reveal them dramatically later.
Interesting.
And it kind of made it harder to get into and understand what was going on. But I did like the twists when they happened. So like I couldn't at the time I was not happy.
Right. But now looking back on
but
it.
Like when it happened I was like, okay, cool. I like that. The middle was a little slow because we were developing, but like not a lot was happening. So like you're more of a setting person, you might have enjoyed it. Where I was like, I kind of wanted some action or something.
I need somebody to describe the curtains in 15 other ways so I know exactly what I'm looking at. I see books so visually. So
maybe you'd like this book.
I need to know if there was a cup to the left or the right, and if there was a fork, I just need to know that information. So
it's a little too much. I woke up into this, I went to bed. I woke up into this and I went to bed, kind of like waiting for something to happen because
okay, I don't like that.
Well, it's because there was development, right? Like
yeah.
Without spoiling anything, like she's not a cloak page 1. She becomes one like chapter 1. But so she's kind of like getting into this role and learning this world with you. Going from never stealing like, something in her life to becoming a cloak. It can
lean divergent because there is a lot of that where she's like, I train this day and train that day.
It is kind of like a training sequence, but without the training, and it's
got it.
Other stuff. The ending was the saving grace of why I bumped it up to a 4. Because everything fell into place. All of, like, the last of the secrets came out, and everything fell into place. Tensions were high and breaking, both good and bad. It was like a happy ending and an unhappy ending.
Oh,
wasn't necessarily a cliffhanger, but also like I really want to have book 2 right now.
In my hands. The title to me and like the premise is giving shirts and skins. Like in a dodgeball game. But I'm sure that, I mean, it sounds really interesting. The magic system sounds very interesting, but in my like initial
it is very interesting.
My initial thought is like shirts and skins.
Because it's like this, they're ruling the night. Like there's still a king who oversees, and they're like killing people and stealing things. So it's like the king isn't really involved, and that was kind of odd to me. But I think it's gonna be big in book 2. Like I think the stuff that happens in book 1 really sets everything up for later.
For that.
So I'm interested to see how that progresses. Quicksilver. I'm sure anyone on Book Talk has seen it flying around. I downloaded it, just tried it, low expectations. But I will say, chapter 1, you're just dropped into like an action scene, interesting, fast paced, and so I was hooked. I just kept reading. Like there was no like lull there, so I just kept turning the pages. It starts off your main female character. She's fierce. She's poor in the poverty. Kind of overdone right now, but poverty in this world is less money and more water.
Okay.
Think Dune is very like hot sand.
We think Phoenix, Arizona.
we kill for clean water here.
Oh, we don't do that here.
In the beginning, she may or may not get caught, may or may not be dragged to the castle, where she may or may not accidentally open a portal to another realm. So we've got a lot of revelations happening. She learns the world as you do. It was a good time. It was interesting. I'll say for like a fae romantasy, it was interesting and felt somewhat refreshing. Your shadow daddy is grumpy, but not just as his personality. He actually has like trauma and a reason for being grumpy.
Oh, I love a hurt man.
So just
if anything.
The only reason, so I rated it. I don't know what I rated it, but
I think you gave it. Hold on, let me look at Goodreads.
I have it mentally teetering a 4.5. Because the middle was a bit Beauty and the Beastie for me, which I kind of hate. Where your female's
taken. You
gave
it 5 stars.
Okay, well,
sorry.
Shut up. Reflecting back,
retrospectively,
and it was a long book too, longer. I don't know.
It's beefy. I don't have any interest in this book, which is interesting, but I know that it's beefy and it's taking the TikTok world by storm, so I'm sure it is. I think
she, like in the last week, I think it might have been signed to a traditional publisher.
Yeah, I think
you're
totally
wrong. Yeah, so our female's taken by a male to a castle and cannot leave until something is, like, accomplished, and we kind of go day by day, slowly watching her try to do that while exploring the castle. Not my cup of tea. Ekatar, it was necessary to an extent to develop characters and their relationships. We learn a lot, but it just kind of happened slowly for me. It was a little uneventful in the middle there for being a long book. Like,
yeah,
that was the only reason I teetered. But the ending more than made up for it. There was like a really big, well done action fight, like giving high fantasy, which I thought was fun.
Oh, I love those.
And twists that I actually didn't see coming. So,
Hmm. 5 stars. A soft 4.5.
Yeah, a soft 4.5. Um, Another big TikTok book I got swindled into this month was Spark of the
Dang,
Everflame.
you are just so influenced.
I gave it a strong 4.
I do have this on my TBR.
It was really weird for me because initially my mind was like trying to write the review. It was like, you found this slow and boring. I was like, I don't think so, because I read it like in one sitting, maybe two, but it was in a 24-hour span. I finished this book.
Sheesh.
So I was like, it wasn't slow or boring. Like, maybe the writing style was just really, really good.
But you don't have like anything to say about it?
A lot happened, but also nothing happened.
Was it set up for the next?
Yes.
There's 3 books out, right?
There's
already?
3 out and a 4th one coming.
Sheesh. I love the cover. The indie covers, or are they like the first release?
I think the traditionally published are going to be similar.
Okay. I like the covers that they are now. It is giving 2013 YA, and I don't know if it's supposed to do that, but it's kind of like sparking that for me, for a lack of a better word, because I know it's like literally called the Spark of the Everflame.
Yeah, so we're in a mortal world colonized a long time ago by gods.
Okay,
and
I love that.
This world is now ruled over by their offspring, the Descended. The humans are seen as lesser beings to the Descended. The Descended act like they're all that. So there's a lot of tension between the two groups. Obviously the humans are poor because they're lesser beings. They're not 100%. God descended. They're not like royal descended or anything like that. Our main character is in the poor village working as a healer under her mother. And her mother...
Isn't?
Who isn't?
Yeah.
Yeah. She just kind of followed in her mom's footsteps and enjoys it. Can't complain. And her mom is healing the king, the Descended king. So there's like a lot of what's going on, like secrets, revelations. Right off the jump, her mom mysteriously disappears, and it sets the trajectory of the whole story. Why did she disappear? Where is she? Also, we kind of take over her role and maybe go be a healer in the castle, even though we've never like interacted with a Descended before. So it's very interesting. And just another lots of secrets to uncover, which I always enjoy learning as the character does, and being gobsmacked when things happen is my favorite.
I sometimes, oh my gosh, I wish I would have like recorded myself reading the last like 2 chapters. This is a side tangent of Lady Macbeth, because you would have loved my like actual facial reaction to that book. But I do love uncovering.
You know, I saw a TikTok like very recently where I think her August recap, she recorded her reading the last chapter of every book and just posting the compilation of her reactions as her recap.
I should do that. The only problem with me is like I don't look at any like table of contents before I read like a Kindle book. So I've told Gerd this before. I don't know when a book is going to end, and it just ends up like I turn the page and then I'm at the author page and I'm trying to give this book like 5 stars, and I'm like, oh
no,
wait.
You give it 3.5.
We can't do that on Kindle because it's Goodreads. But like I genuinely don't know when books are ending, and maybe that's like a me problem, but I get bamboozled by the end of a book all the time. So I'd have to like look at how many chapters there are and pay attention.
I feel like that's not a tall ask.
No, it's not. I could just...
You just have to like put a post-it note.
Read a little bit more. It'd be like, record now.
Go in and put a note in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Spark of the Everflame was a really good world-building character arc setup book. Like, it just felt very natural and fluid. As far as like first books in a series go, they can be pretty hit or miss, and I feel like this one was not a miss. It wasn't like phenomenal, but as like as the first book, I think it was like really good, and I'm excited for book 2.
Yeah, I definitely have it on my TBR. it's in my Kindle library right now, just waiting for me to pick it up.
Yeah, I'll be interested. I don't know, because technically the traditionally published one doesn't come out until I think October. I don't know if anything's planned to change. Since the Kindle copy edition is still up. I have no idea. Usually they take it down until the new release.
I still have Fear the Flames. By Olivia Darling, is that her name?
Yeah.
And I don't know how the full release is gonna be that different. I know that you said you read it and you weren't really sure if it
I
was,
didn't
like,
read.
super
I didn't
different.
finish the indie edition.
I finished it and I really liked it. This is not our recap for that though.
All right, my last August book was an audiobook. I only had 1.5 because I did after the first one. I usually have a lot more than that, but
don't even remember the name. Sorry to the author.
And it might be a good book. It just wasn't a good audiobook arc. Anyway, Zodiac Academy book 8.
R.I.P.
Sorrow and Starlight
Cheers.
was my audiobook. I'm not going to dive into that world because if you know, you know. This is book 8.
Get into it or don't. She's going to lend me her Audible library so that I can listen to them.
I'll leave you with this. If you don't know, Zodiac Academy is kind of like adult Hogwarts, but Fae College instead of wizardry school. But imagine Harry Potter has a twin, and they're both women. One Harry falls for Draco, and the other falls for Snape. And that's what I'll leave.
Oh my God.
It's a good time.
I guess I'm picking it up tomorrow.
It's a good time and a terrible time. Okay. You will feel every type of way on the journey.
I've heard it likened to, like on TikTok, watching Twilight. Like the movie Twilight, not the books. Like, it's so bad but so good.
I would disagree though, because like
but did you like the Twilight movie?
I've never seen a Twilight movie.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well,
I've seen the parody and that's it.
Oh no. No, it's like that. I don't know how to explain it.
But I would disagree with you. I've seen plenty of individual shots of those movies. Like, the writing is actually really well done in these books.
Oh, I'm not saying that it's terribly written. I'm just saying it's like a car crash. You can't help but enjoy watching it.
I don't know though. Like,
okay.
Like, it's cringy, but it's not as cringy, I feel like, as...
Yeah, you've told me that it gets better as it goes
for sure.
Or like more serious.
It's a lot like a lot of those quote drama TV shows I watched in high school.
Oh, I love them. Anything on the CW.
Where they start more like goofy haha. Not and then sitcom-y, like but
the pilot season. And
yeah, it's like, and then they get pretty dark as it progresses,
yeah.
And I feel like that's exactly what this series does. So it hits probably every single, I don't want to say trope, but it hits everything. It is really long, but I would 100% recommend the audiobooks. The narrators are really good. There is over 12 POVs across this series.
This is why I'm scared.
And I can barely the narrators, there's a male and a female narrator, and they change their inflectuations and everything for the different, like even the twin main characters, she has a different voice for each of them slightly.
Like it's to her, man.
It's really well done. The writing style is it's really well done, but it's also really simple. Like, it's really easy to follow in an audio format. And yeah, I would, if you're hesitant, I would do the audiobook. It's really well done. It is a bully romance book one, and I hate bully romance. But if you can get past that,
yeah,
it doesn't stay a bully romance, right? You can't bully your girlfriend.
You can. It's just not great. What did you give that one out of rating wise? I don't think you did.
Okay, because they're audiobooks, I just hit play like the next book. I don't know where any of these books start and end.
Got it.
Um,
Story wise, right? So you're just like right into the next.
I couldn't tell you what happened in any of the books individually. I just know the series as a whole. And
That really is like watching a TV show then.
It really is like a TV show. This
That's
would be
nice.
a really, really good TV show. Although I don't think it ever could be a TV show.
It'd have to be HBO.
It would have
For
to
sure.
be
Or like Stars.
It would have to be Pornhub. No,
I am not buying the subscription to that. Thank you.
It could be HBO if they cut a lot of
There's adult themes.
There's a couple things that would have to stay, and then I guess it would be on point with Game of Thrones, but
there you go.
Yeah.
I'm excited to listen
it's a
to
good
it
journey.
eventually.
It's a good
It'll
journey.
Be one of those,
it's a
like,
long journey. It hits everything. I really don't have a lot of like okay, my only complaint is that it's too long. I will say.
Yeah. For the whole series as a whole or just the book
as a
size?
whole, as a book, because it is a lot of POVs. You're getting everyone's insight, which doesn't seem great.
Too much.
But it is nice. They all have different journeys, and it's like a TV show then. Like, you're just seeing everyone, and I don't know. I really like it, but it is long, and
I've heard that it's like one of those things where it's like, if you do it, just bite the bullet and like just go for
that's
all
exactly
of them.
what
Like,
I did.
You're either in or you're like
that's exactly what I did. And
all.
that's why it's like more of a casual audiobook listen for me.
Yeah.
Which
I feel
is
like
fine.
it's probably a good like chores.
Oh, for
book.
sure. It's really easy to follow.
So, or like driving around running errands.
But again,
you can always pop back in.
It will make you feel every sort of way. Like, if you want to have a bad time, read it. If you want to have a good time, read it. There's a lot of endings that are not happy endings, which is refreshing, but also tough to read.
Yeah.
And so I think for me, it's just going on for so long that like I'm losing hope. And so it's like, it's hard.
How many books do you have? Or is that your last
I'm
one?
on the last one. This was book 8. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And there's 9. There is novellas and I haven't read them.
Is that how many zodiac signs there are?
I don't know anything about
because I don't know. I just know I'm a Scorpio.
They're always like, "Oh my gosh, you're such a Pisces," and I'm like, "I don't know."
I think I might need to do like I know what a Pisces is like.
I know. They just like at least the earlier books lean into a lot. It gets it starts off a lot more like funny and whatever. Like they're in a fake college,
like, relatable and like.
And then it just gets pretty. People are gonna hate me. What is the last Harry Potter book?
Deathly Hallows?
Yeah, it gets very Deathly Hallows.
Okay, that's
But then like they also lose the Battle of Hogwarts, and so like there's like a bunch more books after because they lose.
That's good. I like that.
Right, it is refreshing.
That's a good sell.
It is refreshing, but it gets to be a lot where I'm kind of at the point of like, why are we still going?
It better have a good like culmination at the end.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be devastating.
Do you want to do TBR for September? I know you have a larger one.
Yeah, let me pull.
You have yours pulled up. I have mine pulled up, so I'll go over it. For Gerd, a load of this, we are reading
tentatively.
Tentatively. The Divine. No, we are. It's in my library. The Divine Shallows by Alexandra M. Tran. I don't know anything about this. I'm not gonna look up anything about this.
It has 2 dragons.
There's 2 dragons on the cover. And
the cover's really pretty.
Oh my gosh, it's giving yin and yang from The Last Airbender and lore for Low. I love The Last Airbender. It's like one of my favorite shows. I've watched it so many times. I'm just fully invested. So that looks gorgeous, and I'm excited about it. I am currently reading Assassin's Blade. Really enjoying it. I know that it's like a super heavy book to read because it's all about trauma and like short stories and moving Throne of Glass forward. So Very excited about that one. I have a reread with a couple of buddies of ours for Sky in the Deep by Adrian Young. I don't even know if I need to reread this book. I have
You
read
probably
it.
don't.
I've read it like 5 times. I have the audiobook. I have listened to that. It's like my comfort read. Like I probably read it like once a year, and I've had it since 2018 when it came out. I love Adrienne Young. She is just such a good describer of worlds, and she puts you right in the middle of like just muck and trauma, and I love it. Love it. She also has a really good series that starts with Fable. Great. Pick it up. Then me and my sister are attempting to start the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobbs. So Assassin's Apprentice is the first
How many
book.
books is that?
16. So it's Zodiac Academy, but from the 90s. I'm just kidding. Ooh,
but it's also double.
Yeah, they're beefy books, and they're really just like everyone's having a bad day. Like that's what I've learned the most about like what I've read so far is just like you have a really crappy life, and now I get to learn about it. I'm enjoying the writing style so much. If you're a fan of like Megan Wallen Turner, or I'm trying to think of another like kind of that like I just want to describe it as like scratchy medieval. I don't know why, but it just like I love it so much. It's gritty. It's like it just really transports you back to like medieval times. The world building is great, and then there's a really cool magic system within this. I don't know too much about it because again, I like to go into books super freaking blind. That's my favorite thing. I just pick it up. I'm like, I like the cover, or I like what I've heard somebody say about it. So we're reading that, and then I have a pick for one of the Fable book clubs that I'm in, and that is A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. I've heard that she's very good at like writing doom and gloom, and like Brothers Grimm's retelling is this one of the Goose Girl. So I love this for fall, and I'm very excited to like hear about treacherous mothers and like weird curses and just like, you know, cauldrons and stone floors. So that's my September TBR, and I'm pretty confident I can smash all these ones out because I am going on a trip where I'll have a lot of downtime in the car. So bring my Kindle with me and just punch them out.
And a plane, right?
Oh yeah, but it's only like 2 hours. So I mean, like I'll read on it for sure, but I don't know how far I can get. It depends on what book I pick up, because I don't think I can get too far into Assassin's Apprentice in 2 hours. There's a lot of words in that book. It's a big book.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, let me know. I don't really. I think I would sooner read.
This is just like straight up high. It is boring, but high fantasy. Boring,
but
and I love
why
it.
wouldn't I just read an exciting high fantasy?
No. If the book looks dusty, I need it on my library. I just love being dragged through the mud. That's all it is. Slow burn plot. Like I don't even need romance.
Also known as long and drawn out.
Well, because I like using books as escapism. So why wouldn't you want to just like stay in the book forever?
I just need something to like suck me in and keep me there, though.
Nah. Dusty pages.
Because you know TikTok be lighting up on my phone. I need something that like keep me in there.
Okay.
Yeah, so Divine Shallows and Sky in the Deep are also on my September TBR for book club.
I've been trying to get her to read Sky in the Deep for forever.
I have a copy. I think I got it over a year ago now.
I love it.
I just was not in the mood for Vikings. And
I don't blame you.
I don't dislike Vikings, but I think I had just gone through a lot of Viking stuff.
And now you're like overloaded with Fae stuff, so it's good to bring it back.
Yeah. I think when I was trying to read it, it was when A Fate Inked in Blood had come out, and I read that.
Yes.
And we were watching like Vikings on Netflix,
And you're
and
like
something else,
too
and
much
something
lore,
else.
too many runes, too many
Yeah.
talas.
Um. Yeah. So my TBR, I'm hoping to finish the last audiobook for Zodiac Academy, but I'm not holding myself to it. If it happens, it happens. It is so long, so I don't know. Also, The Crown of Wyverns Flame by Amelia J is the second book in her trilogy. It's being completed in September. I really enjoyed it, the first book, and it's people compare it to like Throne of Glass or whatever, but it's just a really fun adventure romantasy book.
Heck yeah.
Also, The Hunted Heir is another sequel book I'm trying to do this month.
The Veiled Kingdom, right?
Yeah.
Is the first book.
Yes, and that came out very recently in August, and it's really short. It's under 300 pages. So I'm hoping to just whip that one out, but I'm excited. I enjoyed The Veiled Kingdom. I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it. Also, I think the last 3 on my TBR all come out in September, and that's why they're on my. Hopefully, I read them in September, but I don't know if time will permit. But just really anticipated reads for me this year. This Will Be Fun by E.B. Asher. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember the blurb of this book. I just thought it looked fun. The title is This Will Be Fun, but it's a fantasy.
I've heard a little bit about it, and it looks intriguing.
And it just looks like a unique read, I think. And I think I need that once in a while.
Amidst all the dragons and daggers and stuff.
Yeah. Neverkeep comes out in September, which is the same world as Zodiac Academy. For those who don't know, there's like 17 worlds within that universe.
Love it.
But this one seems like they're. I don't want to say I wouldn't like the other series, because I would prefer an academia setting if it was a modern fantasy world, and that's what Zodiac Academy is. Where Neverkeep is advertised as more of a fantasy book. So I'm excited to see that side of their writing being less modern, I guess. And then Big Dragon book coming in September of Flames and Fallacies. Really cool cover.
Love the cover of that
Good
one.
reviews. Really excited. I have this pre-ordered. I think it's still the end of September. But I'm very excited to read it.
Truck through it in the last couple days.
Very excited. I have I don't remember what it's about, but I know I'm anticipating it.
Nice.
And that's Courtney Wims.
Nice.
So I've got a ballsy
chunk.
TBR, to be honest.
I have a couple more that I would like to get to, but I'm trying to stick within like the parameters, at least.
Trying to be reasonable.
It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice to have like a routine almost, because I have the books I'm reading with you that I'm trying to read with my sister, and then obviously a couple other Fable book clubs. The one that I'm doing right now is the Peruse Project, Cozy Seasons, and I love her selections for September, October, November. They just all look really right up my alley. And
is that like a book a month?
Yeah. So she'll have it start, and then by the end of the month, that's when everybody will do their recap. So I can definitely, it's like a 300-page book, so that I can definitely kick out. So I have a couple more, like I might want to try to get to the Queen of Shadows, like next after Assassin's Blade, if I like run through it, and then just like whatever else I can get to. But I have 5 at least that I want to get done. So that I can kind of like move forward with the rest of the series.
Just trying to dig myself out of my TBR.
I don't.
But then all these new reads keep coming. And...
Everybody is so like high pressure with their TBR. My TBR is like what I want to read in that moment. I have like a list of books that I want to get to eventually, but I don't have anything that like I'm a mood reader in the sense of like I want to read something that matches the time that I'm in. So or the series obviously just kind of going forward with that, but stuff that's like super like spooky and cozy now makes sense, and then as it lends itself to the winter, it's so different in Arizona though because we don't have any seasonal change, so I kind of just get to do whatever everybody else is doing. But I don't have like a I don't have a physical TBR because I have read almost every single one of my books because my library is so tiny.
Like?
It's terrible. I want a big library.
Well, I would constitute the Kindle TBRs being a physical TBR because I have to swipe past them all trying to find the book I'm trying to read.
A crap ton of my Kindle library is like free fantasy books that came out on like Stuff Your Kindle Day that I don't know anything about, so they don't even count. If you go on my Fable or my Goodreads, those are my actual like I do want to read these. So but I'm in between being like, do I want to buy it on Kindle or do I want to like start to, beef up my actual physical library? I don't know. But then for me, I'm like, well, I'm actually going to pick up this book and read it. I have 5 what is it? 5 something or other? Swords, 5 crowns,
5 broken blades. I was like, what are you talking about?
There's this book called 3 Dark Crowns. That's what I'm thinking. That is not the book. Yeah, I have 5 broken blades. I'm excited for that one. I got that one at Barnes & Noble for 50% off, and the edges are very beautifully sprayed, so I will be picking that one up eventually.
They're getting too smart. They're taking advantage of us.
Yeah, they know
they're like,
how to get us.
First run has sprayed edges. You have to buy the first run right now before they're sold out.
The book, Dreadful. I don't remember the author. I have it on my my TBR. It looks so pretty. The like actual Caitlin Rozakis, I think is how you say her name. The Barnes and Noble like first edition or whatever. The sprayed edges are like little skulls and leaves, and I need to go pick it up. But I'm waiting until after my trip, or maybe I'll pick it up on my trip because I'm going to Powell's, the biggest bookstore in the United States, and I'm very excited.
Jealous.
You should be.
FaceTime me.
Okay, I will. I'll vlog it for you. Look it up on TikTok. It'll be there.
No.
I think that wraps it up for me. We're at the hour mark.
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
Okay. Well, obviously be on the lookout for whenever we decide to post this if we're brave enough. Gerd loaded this with Gerdon and Low. You can check us out on we have different TikToks. Right now my TikTok name is Books and Banshee. It will be changing to the Bookish Banshee, but I made it very, very late at night, and I was not in the mind to like come up with a creative username. And then you're Jurgens. Can you spell that for me? Because I'm dyslexic.
It is Gerdon, just different.
Yeah,
it's DERGENNS because dragons, but not
Jurgens.
Exactly.
And then on TikTok, and then we have Instagrams of the same name, Jurgens, and then mine is Aesthetic Spines. So you can find us there, and like and follow, subscribe. I've never had to do this before.
See you next time.
Bye.